Donald Trump has moved from attacking executive branch departments and agencies and their workers and has now moved on to a fight with Congress, lurching from one constitutional crisis about separation of powers after another, now with a new executive order just signed yesterday in which he has declared that he alone controls all agencies, even those independently created by Congress, like the Securities and Exchange Commission, like the Federal Reserve, like the Federal Trade Commission. Those are all independent agencies because Congress created them as a creature of statute. They do reside in the executive branch, and that's why Donald Trump, taking another page out of the Project 2025 playbook, has declared that he alone is the unitary executive, and every executive agency under him must report directly to him. No independent agencies. There's a very good reason we have independent agencies, and this is going to set up a fight with Congress. The question is there anyone on the other side to fight back?
Hey everybody, welcome back. Yeah, you heard it right. Michael Popak there is one of my favorite people. He's someone I listen to on a regular daily basis, and I trust him implicitly. He's a lawyer. He's out there to try and do good. He's got better skill than just marching in the street like the 50-51 crowds that we talk about. But what he had to tell you right there is pretty scary. It's just another step in 47's march to a dictatorship. He needs to eliminate anybody looking over his shoulder or trying to stop his agenda. For him to do away with the control and give it all to himself of every independent agency started last week when he fired all the heads of all the departments. Him and Muskrat ran through a bunch of different departments, and they're too much to list here. Maybe I can put a B-roll down at the bottom with the name of all of them because there's so many of them. They ran through all these departments, firing or walking out the heads of these departments, and now he claims by executive order that he alone controls them all. Come on, people. What do you think you're listening to? You know, this is a dictatorship in the making. You know, there's a reason that 50-51 is marching in the streets. But I digress. Him and Ross Vogt, who is one of the leaders of the Heritage Foundation, one of the architects, believes that the president alone has the right to control all this. And to make matters even worse, he honestly believes that money that Congress allocated for these different agencies to do the checks and balances for we the people of the country, they now have the right to impound the money and pull it back if they don't agree with what the money is being used for. Yeah, that's right, folks. If it's an oversight, he can take the money away. If it's an oversight he doesn't like, he can take the money away. If it's something that he thinks that would work for Elon, he can let them keep the money. There's only one place that he's not playing with. Yeah, that's the Federal Reserve. He knows that if he does anything to take over the Federal Reserve, if he even whispers the fact that he thinks that Chairman Powell is his next deletion, you will watch the stock markets crash completely across the board. And when the United States stock markets crash, there will be others. The Tokyo markets will crash. The EU markets will crash. The German markets will crash. Everything will go down, and he will become unilaterally the most hated man in the world. In the carve-out, he gave Pam Bondi unilateral control with him to make decisions on interpreting the laws of these independent agencies. Only Trump and her have the right. Now, we know this is going to go to the federal courts. I got this news less than 30 minutes ago and decided to cut this podcast on the fact that that information came out. I'm willing to bet, whatever it is that you want to bet, that there's already legal paperwork on someone's desk that the ink isn't dry on, that someone's waiting to file paperwork in federal courts to stop this maniac. By tomorrow morning when you get this podcast is going out on Thursday evening. It'll be open and visible to you on Friday morning. I will bet that there is already backlash in the federal courts on it, and it's what it should be. And it will end up going to the Supreme Court. There will be so many things coming through the federal courts and so many things going to the Supreme Court this year, folks. If you thought you were watching the Supreme Court last year, man, get the popcorn out. The wannabe dictator is marching towards his goal. And with the help of the do-nothing 119th Congress and the representatives that we elected that are not trying to stop him, that are letting him steamroll different things, you all need to consider listening to the people at 5051. You all need to consider raising your voice, because if you don't, you won't have anybody to blame but yourself when it all goes wrong. There's still more than time to get your voice out there. I recommend you get it out there. I recommend you write to your representatives, call your representatives. I contacted 2 of mine last week, one in the Senate, one in the House. The one in the Senate gave me a blanket answer back yesterday. The one from the House of Representatives gave me a detailed conversation and has invited me to talk with him. I will be calling him, and I will be voting for him next year. The other one? Yeah, not so much. Anyways, folks, I don't want to get buried down in too deep. I just thought maybe you needed to hear this. You needed to know what his move was, that he was trying. With that, I'm going to let you all go and have a wonderful evening. I know I've had one, and I want to thank everybody out there for all their support. Good night, and thank you.